being honest. I'm waiting for the little button to come on. There we go. Let's let one more person in. Let me go back and mute myself. I'm sorry I don't sound like my normal excited self. I've not been feeling well lately. I'm going to turn off my video. Pete, once I stop talking and spotlight you, you're the man.
Let's do it. Hey, howdy, hey, everybody. I even put on a good shirt for this, guys. I mean, come on. Okay, so do me a favor, everybody. Don't play your ukulele, but go ahead and unmute. And that way, if you have a question, because I'm on a phone and I can't hear you. So for a little while, before we even start strumming, anything like that, just so you have the ability, just remember that you're unmuted, okay, please. This is the basic ukulele course. This is a course, and I think I saw Victoria in there, which Victoria means you're staying up very late. It's like 1 o'clock or something there, right?
Yeah.
Are you keeping your husband awake watching me?
No, he's gone.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's do this real quickly. This is a class that I teach. It is a basic ukulele class. It's to actually get people going. But if you already know how to play, then what you're going to pick up is you're going to pick up some methods. You're going to pick up some ways that you can do things you may not have known in the past. You're gonna get some things under your belt that maybe you didn't realize before that's going to help you out. I'm going to tell you why things are the way they are, and then in the end, I'll tell you whatever feels comfortable. So I take that back. There's somebody's got a TV going or something. You might want to mute.
Turn the TV down.
Just real quickly, everybody. I'm sorry. Y'all go ahead and mute because I realize y'all probably can't hear me. All right, now. Here's the thing about a ukulele. A ukulele is one of the most versatile instruments you'll ever get a hold of. And once you figure out the little idiosyncrasies of it, and you figure out how to hold it and how to strum, and you do it where I think everyone in about a year's time, I mean, you're playing like you've never played before. But for most people, for about 2, 3, 4 weeks, you actually got to get comfortable with it. Some people are actually afraid to play when they first start. So here's a few things that I guarantee you. If you've never played before, by the time we're through, you're going to be strumming. Number 2, you're going to know when you leave here, basically the appropriate way that you're supposed to hold it, because there's actually a way that you're supposed to hold it. Another thing, I'm going to show you how to play so that your chord hand doesn't hurt. You may not realize it. Some people, when they first start playing, they're so eager to make a chord and get it correct that they're putting so much tension on their hand that they're actually hurting themselves. Ukulele is one of the instruments that has the least amount of tension on it than any other instrument because of the type of strings and the length of the strings. So you don't have to put a whole lot of tension on it. But let's start off with this. I know probably all of you have been strumming before. I can actually see some of you playing right now. So I'm no fool. I know that you know how to play at some point. But I'm going to start this like I start every single time. And I'm going to start by saying, guys, this is a ukulele. U-K-U-L-E-L-E, not O-O-K. Because when I first began this, I watched a guy named Jake Shubakuro play it, and he called it an ukulele, which is probably the proper way to say it. I didn't know how to spell it. So it took me at least an hour to figure out what I was looking for when I was trying to order one. So U-K-U-L-E-L-E. And I might even come up with a song for this. U-K-U-L-E-L-E. Yeah, I don't know, but it's going to happen at some point. But this is a ukulele, and this is a tenor size ukulele, and there's different sizes. Some people have a soprano, which is the smallest. Now they have even smaller ones, supernissimo and all these other kind of little tiny ukes. But for a long time, it was soprano, concert, tenor, and then a baritone. Now, the thing that you need to understand with a ukulele is that The first three ukes that I mentioned, soprano, contralto, tenor, they all have the same tuning, okay? The baritone doesn't. And the baritone is actually a parlor guitar. But a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think, well, it's tuned differently. Well, it's not just tuned, Victoria, I'm so sorry. Your little eyes are drooping. But a Barry ukulele is actually a guitar, and the guy the Favila that actually they credit him in building the first baritone, he took two strings off of a guitar, off of a parlor guitar, and he said it was easier to teach the children with four strings beginning, and that's why he did it. So that's why it's tuned differently. But other than that, the first three, they all have the same tuning. Now, when you first look at a ukulele and you're trying to figure it out, how many people out there, give me a little hand, how many people actually know all the names of the parts of the ukulele? Because we're fixing to do that. A lot of people don't actually know the names of everything. This is called a headstock. This is called tuners. This is called the nut. This is a fretboard, but it's called a fretboard because of the little metal things that are on here, not because between the spaces. You actually play between the two pieces of metal, but that's actually a fret. You come down the fret, and this is the body of the instrument. The top of this is called a soundboard. And then on the soundboard, this is called a bridge with a saddle. Now, why did they name this a bridge? One of the most important things that you need to learn before you ever hold this, all the sound comes from this, from the soundboard. So the strings come across, if you look at your ukuleles, you follow me, your strings come across this saddle and they go to the bridge. What that bridge actually does is it takes the vibrations of the string through that saddle and it bridges it to the soundboard. So if you have a ukulele and you're holding it like this, what are you going to do? You're going to mute the sound. And if you've got all your body laying on it and you're just strumming with your hand, you're going to mute the sound. Now, there's several people out there that would hurt me for saying that you need a strap. There are people out there that are ukulele purists and they say, no one should play with a strap. I've been playing 13 years. I highly recommend a strap. I don't care what size you have. There's two reasons. One, freeze your hands up completely. If you don't have a strap, even if you're playing a soprano, no matter how you hold it, now I used to hold it like this all day long and I could play. Okay, I could still do it actually. But most people, they use this part of their hand and they're actually using that when they make their chords because they don't have a strap. They're holding it here and they're holding it here. And what it does is it actually inhibits your hand and you don't play. You could make your chords so much better and easier if you have a strap and it actually holds that for you, which I'll show you that in just a minute. But your strings go across this on the bridge, the saddle, it transfers the sound from there, it goes into the body, and the body or the box becomes an amplifier, projects the sound back out here. That's important. And if you walk away from here and the thing that you remember is, I don't need to be putting a lot of pressure on the top of my soundboard so I deaden the sound, then I've done my job. But back of the instrument, sides of the instrument, and why is all this important? The anatomy of this is important. So you know that your ukulele, the second thing is because we're actually going to teach you about the fretboard in just a minute and how it actually interacts with how you play music. So before I get into actually playing, I have different segments and I'm going to teach you a few things. One of them is this. Let's start off with, if you don't know how to tune your instrument, I recommend that you get a tuner. And I'm from the South in America, and a tuner is either one of these or it's a fish. And this ain't no fish. This is a cactus tuner. See there? That's a tuner with a big old mouth. But you need to get you a tuner if you don't have one. Or if you want to, get you a tuner. Doesn't tuner sound really good for dinner, though? I wonder if I got some of that. Anyway, I digress. So you get yourself a tuner, and if you don't, let me give you an option. You can go online, or you can use your phone, and you can go and you can get an app to tune, Or you can just go to a website, Uke Tuner Buddy, or Tuner Buddy, whatever it's called, Uke Buddy, and it'll produce a sound, and you tune to that sound. And all you're going to do is you're going to tighten and loosen the string until you get the sound. If you've never used a tuner before, let me show you something here real quick. Come on, little cacti. We'll turn you on here. Okay. Let's see if we can get this up here and I can show you this. All right. Now, can everybody see that? Do you see him on there? I can't really see him because my screen's so small. So what you're going to do, thank you. What you're going to do, it's not even on. Y'all are just being nice. Okay, here we go. Hang on. There he is. Now, see how he's green? It tells me that that string is in tune. And so what you're going to do is you're going to tune each string up or down until you get the first one G, the next one C, the next one E, the next one A. And get your uke in tune before we ever start. Now, is everybody tuned up out there? So y'all already know what's going on out there.
Pete, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we do small turns of the tuner or big, huge ones?
Well, let's put it this way. It actually depends on what kind of tuner you have. If you have a geared enclosed tuner, it's going to be small. If you have a tuner that is an open and you look on the back and it has gears, you still want to do it small, but it's going to take a lot more to tune. But always in small increments. Is that what you're looking for?
That is what I'm looking for. See, you know me too well.
Okay. But the whole thing is to get it in tune, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to either get a tuner, you're going to get a resource that you can actually hear the sound. I actually recommend to hear the sound and do that one for a while, because what happens is if you're just sitting here, after a while you're like, well, that's not in tune, and you know it's not in tune anymore. But so let's do a couple things here before we ever start strumming or do anything like that. I'm going to teach you how to hold this. The proper way to hold this. A lot of people don't really realize there is actually a proper way to hold this. Now, it's actually ergonomically designed, believe it or not. So how many of you study classical guitar? I've studied classical guitar for the past 30, I'm just kidding, I haven't. But how many of you have studied classical guitar? I have. And one of the reasons I did was because way back when I first got into ukulele, I realized that there wasn't anybody actually teaching what proper method there was to actually hold the uke. They would say, hold it in the crook of your arm or something like that, but they didn't give you all the whys and the whats. That's what this class is. It's the whys and the whats. This instrument is designed to be held at a 30-degree angle. Now, it's an approximation. This is about a 30-degree angle. It's for the neck, okay? Now, why is that? I'm going to give you a little southern like explanation. All right. Now, hands, right? Hands. Your hand, what I want you to do is whatever hands you use to make a chord, I want you to take that and I want you to hold it down beside you and I want you to relax. Okay? Everybody relaxing that hand down? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take that hand and I want you to hold it up at a 90-degree angle beside yourself. See that? Hold it like this. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to turn your hand so that your palm is facing you. Now, and although Victoria's in bed, she's going to have a little bit of harder time. But I want you to see now, you got some observations there. Do you feel any tension right here? You got your hand turned, you feel tension like right here, right? Right? Or you feel tension right here. As long as you got that hand. Now take that hand and push it like you're twisting your hand back towards your back. You're going to feel the tension I'm talking about in two places, here and here. Now, if you've got a rock, now let everybody take their hands down. I want you to do something else, okay? I want you to take that same hand and I want you to take it to your mouth and put it over your mouth. Did that hurt? Is there any pain whatsoever? Huh? Kelly, did you do that? Because I did not see you do that, Kelly. That's okay. So Do it one more time. Put your hand right here. Everybody, come on, y'all. Any pain whatsoever. You know why? Because nature has designed you to take care of yourself. If you were sitting at a dinner table, nature didn't design you to pick up that biscuit, and of course it's a cookie for Victoria. Nature didn't design you to pick up that biscuit and throw it behind your shoulder. It designed to put it in your mouth. There's no pain whatsoever to have your hand go to your body. You're designed to take care of yourself. When you have an instrument at a 30-degree angle and you have your hand to your mouth, what do you notice? Do you notice that that hand is in direct alignment with the fretboard now? It's kind of strange, isn't it, that way? In other words, if I had my hand in front of my mouth and I wanted to play my ukulele, I would have to turn my ukulele like this for my hand to be where it needed to be to play a chord. And there's no pain involved with that because you're holding it the correct way. If you ever look at flamenco or you look at classical guitarists, one thing you'll see, they sit in a chair and they have their left foot up on a pedestal. And then they have the guitar sitting like this, because that's how their hand and arms are designed to move freely up and down the fretboard where it doesn't cause any friction. Same thing for you. From now on, when you play your ukulele, if you play it like rock and roll style, it's hard to do this with the camera this way, but if you play it rock and roll style with the neck actually out like this, you're actually going to feel pressure right here. You're actually going to feel pain right there after a while. See, that makes sense to everybody? 30-degree angle, hand up like this, and there you are. Now, here's the other thing. I always say use a strap. And I've actually gotten, when I was in England the last time, I had a guy literally, it was almost an altercation. Not on my end. I wasn't as passionate as he was. But he was passionate about the fact that I was teaching people that they should have a strap. I personally, if you are somebody that believes that you don't need a strap because you have a soprano ukulele, then by all means, please don't do it. But I can tell you from experience, if you have a strap on, number one, you won't drop your uke. You just won't drop it. It won't happen. Now, there are straps that just go into the sound. If you care about that, there's straps that just go into the sound hole. You will drop that one. I've done that too, way back when. But I always try to tell people, you got to do what's best for you. That's what it comes down to. And in learning to play the ukulele, if you keep your things and your fundamentals. Sue, do you have that fundamental page?
I just put it in the chat.
Okay. If y'all want to download that and take it so that you can see what I'm talking about, it's putting the fundamentals it's actually putting the fun into the fundamentals of the ukulele. Everything that I'm talking about is there. On that particular page. And I normally have it behind me or I have it in front of me so I can refer to it. If you want to have it out, if you have a way to have it out so you can look to it as well, that's cool. But in there, it's got a diagram of a gentleman sitting there and he's holding a uke at about a 30-degree angle. And it kind of helps you out a little bit. I'm sure y'all figure that part out. But this is how you hold the ukulele. I'm going to put a strap on in just a second. Just to reiterate, it's a 30-degree angle. You're going to hold it. You're going to relax your arm. Your hand will actually go about, I don't know, at the end of the fretboard, depending on the length of the ukulele. So don't panic and think that you have to play over the sound hole. You can actually play comfortably just beyond the sound hole, and the sound will sound just the same. Don't worry about it. And then you want to have your hand and the uke at a 30-degree angle so you can make your chords. Now, how are you going to make these chords with your chord hand? Whether you're left-handed or you're right-handed, I'm going to teach you one of my own creations. Notice how serious I got. It's one of my own creations. As with all my creations, they serve a purpose, but they have a meaning to them. Okay, I want everyone to meet this person here. This is my chord hand. Hello, how are you? This is my puppet hand. Do you see my puppet hand here? Hello. Now, everybody, come on, chord hand. Let me meet your chord hand. Hold your chord hand up. Let me meet it. Okay, so you're going to pretend it's like a finger puppet. Hello, how you doing? Hey, I'm Pete's chord hand, and I'm going to teach you a whole bunch of stuff about chords. That's what we're going to do. I can't do it where my mouth doesn't move, so, don't panic. Now, why am I doing this? This is actually brilliant, if I say so myself. When you make a chord on a ukulele, there's something called the natural position. The way that you hold the uke, where it's at a 30-degree angle, your hand is in its natural position on your arm, so you do not hurt your hand. I don't know how many of you have done this, but if you played for like 6 months and you're really putting a lot of pressure on the uke and you've got your uke down, you actually start having a pain about right here in your hand. And it hurts like crazy. And you're like, man, what have I done to my hand? Well, it's because you're playing at the wrong angle and you're forcing your hand. Well, same thing with your chords. There's a rule in classical guitar: don't cross your fingers. So if you're making chords, one good rule of thumb is if you've never made a chord before and you're looking at that finger chord, you're looking at that chart, that little chord on that finger position. If you're taking your fingers and you're twisting them in any way to make a chord, that's wrong. Just remember that. Rule of thumb is if you're crossing your fingers to make a chord, it's wrong. But let's do this. Everyone take that. I'm going to put my strap on my uke right now, if that's okay. I want everyone to make a finger puppet. And I'm going to show you something. You're going to see this and you're going to be like, that man is a genius. He's crazy, but he's a genius. All right, here we go. So let me see your hand puppets. Come on. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to look at Mr. Hand Puppet, and I want you to bring him down by your uke, and I want you to put the fretboard in his mouth. And what I want, look down, I want the top of the fingers to be even with the top of the fretboard that's up towards you. Now, where's your thumb? It's in the middle, isn't it? It's almost in the exact middle of the neck. That's where you want it to be. A lot of people, when they play, you'll see their thumb up here, me included. It's such a habit. And I'm playing, you'll see me, I got my thumb up there and I'm just going at it. But I always try to remember, I've been trying for years, this is the proper way to do this. So here's another thing to let me teach you real quick. You've made that hand puppet. You've got the hand to where it's in its natural position. Its natural position, if you look down, your first finger should be over fret number 1. Remember, these are frets between the pieces of metal and the nut. That's fret number 1. The next was number 2. And your fingers loosely should fall there, right? Because I know from the very beginning of time, whoever it was, because this is just the method that people do, they say, you got to learn how to play ukulele. Oh my God, we have so much fun down at our group. They bring food, we have fun, we all sing together. It's so great, but I don't know how to play a ukulele. Yeah, you do. Here's a ukulele. Now hold it like this and take your third finger and put it on that little first string right there and put it on the 3rd fret. Now strum. Everybody learns that way. I don't know why. It works. But they're giving you 2 truths in there. If you hold your hand like I showed you how to hold your hand, you've got the top of the fingers at the top of the fretboard. You've got your thumb in the middle of the neck. You've got your fingers across 1 through 4 frets, relaxed. Do you notice where your 3rd finger is? It's on the 3rd fret. So if you count your strings from the floor, you got to start from the floor. All strings are counted from the floor. Count from the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat after me. From the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. That becomes important. Reason being is because when I tell you string number 1, you know you're going to start from the floor. I tell you fret number 3, you know that is where you're going to be. Fret number 3, string number 1. And now I haven't told you what chord it is. So nobody yell out the chord because I know you already know it, but I already did. Anyway, so here's what we're going to do. This position right here, that is the natural position that your hand is going to be in to make a strum. And if you're going to start learning how to play, you've got your strap, you have your uke at the right way, you have your hand puppet, you have that hand puppet so that his fingers are at the very top of that fretboard, the thumb is in the back. Let's talk about something real quick. I am a fantastic artist. I can do inspirational pictures, I can draw anything. I am absolutely amazing. Now look, real quickly, I am drawing me, and I am such a talented artist that this is fantastic, is it not? See how quick I did that? I am phenomenal. Now, let me draw something else for you. And I should have gotten a marker is what I should have gotten. All right. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to draw my ukulele. And I'm going to draw it. Here's the headstock. Now, you can't see it yet. Here's the headstock. Oh, it's beautiful, though. God, you wish you could see this, I know. And then I'm going to draw the nut. And I'm going to just make it a dark line. Okay, and then I'm going to draw the fretboard. And I'm going to draw the strings. And I'm going to put a fret in here. Put a fret in here. Fret in here. Fret in here. Now here's my tuners. Hang on, everybody hold on. Nobody panic. Y'all might not be able to hear this, but my dog has the hiccups. Okay. Now, I know there's like a shadow or something, but do you see how beautiful that is? Now, why is this important? Why am I doing this? This is the top of your ukulele, right? So everybody do me a favor. Take your ukulele and look at your ukulele. Hold it so that you see the headstock and the fretboard, okay? Now, why is this important? Why am I going through all this? Reason being is I've showed you how to hold it. One of the things that I really want you to understand is your chord chart and really understand where that chord chart comes from. Okay. This is a picture, albeit there's a shadow. This is a picture of the top of my ukulele. Now, what do you notice about this? Do you notice there's the headstock, there's the nut, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 frets, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 strings, right? Do you realize what that is now? Okay, so if somebody wanted to show you a chord, all they would have to do is take the headstock off the top of that, and that's your chord. Do you see the relevance in that? So if you ever get confused about where your fingers go on a chord, turn the ukulele towards you and look where the black dots are, and that's your chord. Does that make sense, everybody? I know some of you out there are going, oh my God, please get to the playing. But I have to take in consideration that whoever watches this video does not know how to play. So I'm trying to take you through it. So one of the things that you need to understand is everybody, has everybody able to look at the paper that Sue posted? No? Sue, do you think you could share that?
You mean put it on the screen instead of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's so sad. I'm enjoying looking at you. Okay, I will try.
You poor thing.
I have so many windows open, it might take me a minute. Give me a sec.
That's okay. That's okay. So let's reiterate on this for just a little bit. All we really want to do today is I'm trying to get you playing, even though I know, looking at y'all, I know most of you, and I know you already know how to play, and you came here just to be nice to Pete, and I love that about you. But have you learned anything so far? Have you learned how you should hold a ukulele? Have you learned how fantastic an artist I am? Because there we are. Now, do you see that hand puppet? I did that all by myself. You should be proud of me. I drew that with my hand. So are you able to zoom in on any of that? And if you are, show them what I mean by where their hands should be on the, see the hand puppet and how when you put the hand puppet around the neck, where your thumb should be and your fingers should be. That's a big one. Okay, there we go. Now, go ahead and go down just a little bit. There we go. See how it says form and holding your ukulele upper body position and the natural position of your chord, arm, and hand for optimal playability. You know, sometimes I read that and I'm like, dang gum. I don't know. It's like, it must have been a godsend because I don't think I could redo that one today because that's like almost like I'm smart. Now go down just a little bit, Miss Sue. Now, this is something we're fixing to get into chords and we're fixing to get into strumming. And we're fixing to get into actually playing. One of the things that I want you to see it says KISS theory, keep it simple and strum. Why I always put that on every page that I do is because people, when they are learning, they tend to complicate things. Can you bring up the C chord for me down at the bottom, Miss Sue? So everybody try, and just give me a second with this one real quick. One of the things I've learned through the years is that everyone tries to complicate. When you first learn how to play, you want everything right now. And a lot of people get frustrated with themselves because they feel like they're not going the direction they need to go in the amount of time they need to go. But the reality is if you will actually pick it up every day, play it a little bit every day, and you could even record yourself every day, just a little bit, you'll see how dramatic the progression actually is over a short period of time. Once you realize what you're doing, you get comfortable with the ukulele. So the big thing is to keep it simple and strum. There are God knows how many wonderful people that teach basic ukulele out there on YouTube and I could name like 15 right now off the top of my head that play and learn. I'm sorry, that teach ukulele, and one of their main resources is they do strumming patterns. If you don't know how to play, if you're just learning, if you've just picked up a ukulele, strumming patterns are a good thing because it actually gets you the feel of what the song should be like as you're playing it. But what happens is everybody I've ever known, once you get about a year into playing the ukulele, you start creating your own strums. You like the way you like a song to be played. And it's a great beginning tool. But after a while, you're going to progress to where you do not need a strumming pattern. And that's when keep it simple is when you're strumming, sometimes just a simple strum over a complicated strum is absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. So we're going to make our first chord right now. We only got a few minutes left, so I want to make sure that I get in here to where we're actually playing. So can you zoom up a little bit on that C chord for me? Thank you, Sue. You are awesome. Um, I'm going to do a side note here real quick. The Memphis Public Library has graced the Memphis Ukulele Flash Mob, and Sue was one of the key people. I'm sorry, Sue was the key people. And we went together, and it was almost like we're talking at the same time because I had some goals when I first started playing ukulele. I wanted to give back to my community. And when Sue started coming here and attending and being part of our local group, I wanted her to help me figure out a way that I could get back to the community. And she, in turn, wanted to figure out a way that we could get ukuleles into the library. And she blessed us the whole time and still continually does that with all the ukulele things that we do. And I'm telling you right now, she is a trooper. And how many ukuleles did we end up with, Sue, in each library, each branch? Was it 2 per branch?
Maybe 30 total.
Wow. And then we ended up having you some that you could do a class with.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have one per branch, and then we have at least a dozen or so at Central, and they get used, and we made strung 2 of them as lefties.
Wow. That's awesome. But so the whole thing in a nutshell I'm trying to say here real quick is thank you to the Memphis Public Libraries. And I want to publicly thank Sue Snitzer for all that she does for us as well, because she really works hard for us.
She might be blushing right now.
So let's talk about making chords, and let's talk about string tension. We're fixing to make our first chord, and one of the easiest chords to make is an open chord. when you learn how to strum. So I want to do this real quickly. I want you to take your hand, and I want you to, you might need to go back to me for a second, Sue. I'm sorry. I want you to take your hand, and what I want you to do, hello, everybody. We're going to strum a ukulele now. And what I want you to do is I want you to take that finger, and I want you to point, because what you're going to do is you're going to use the tip of this finger to strum with. Some people use their thumbs. Some people use their thumbs, and I'm not going to tell you you can't use your thumb. I can tell you when it comes to speed, you're not going to be able to play near as fast as you would this finger right here. So for downs, listen, initially, in this initial encounter, I'm going to teach you the easiest, most simple thing to do. You got your uke turned. Did I almost say guitar? You got your uke turned, and it's going to be an A minor 7 open. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your index finger, you're going to come back so that you're strumming down, and you're strumming down. Can you see that? Just simple, right? And use that fingernail and strum down. Now you can pretend you're holding a pick, and I'll tell you why, because when I really start playing, when we're done, it's going to happen next week. When I show you how I strum, you're going to go down, and then you're going to come back up with your thumb when you really get strumming. It's almost like you've got a pick, but you're using your thumbnail and your index finger. But for right now, let's just do down strums and do them with me. 2, 3, 4, and relax. Now, listen to me while we're doing this. And I don't want you to pay attention to your hand. I just want you to strum with me. Don't pay attention to what you're doing. Just do it like it's natural. String tension on a ukulele is the least amount of tension of any instrument. And a lot of people make the assumption that when they first start learning how to play, they want a clear note, so they have to press just as hard as they can. And the reality of that is you don't have to. I quit strumming if you didn't know this. Okay, now here's the chord. We're going to make a C chord. Now that C chord is exactly what I told you earlier. You're going to take the hand puppet. You're going to put him on your ukulele so that your thumb is in the back. Do not let your thumb be over here on the top. You want it to be on the back so that you're literally like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hand in that natural position over the first, second, third, and fourth. You're going to count from the floor, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to take your third finger and put it on the first string on the first, second, third fret. Now, just relax your hand. Relax your hand. See how it's just relaxed there? Now, what I want you to do, I can't hear you because you're muted, but I want you to start strumming and don't push. Just put your hand on there. And I want you, as gentle as you can, start pushing until you actually hear a clear note. And you're going to notice that you're pressing half as hard as you used to. Do you hear it? And your finger doesn't hurt as bad because you're not trying to kill yourself by pressing through the neck of the instrument. It's amazing, isn't it? Okay, now here's the deal. We're going to do You Are My Sunshine. I'm going to teach you another chord, but I'm going to teach you another chord because I'm going to be talking about the transition of chords. And this is going to be almost the end of this session. But we're going to sing a little bit together too, if you don't mind. And I'm going to tell you the chords, and we're going to go back and forth. But let's start with that C chord again. Finger puppet, mouth open, neck in the mouth of the finger instrument, in the fretboard, in the mouth of the finger puppet. We're going to put that third finger on the third fret, first string, thumb behind the instrument, like that. And then I'm going to take this finger and I'm going to start strumming down. And I want you to strum with me. Now, this is about as simple as it gets. And if all you ever wanted to do with this, with every single song, guess what? You can do it. I could sing any song in my book just like this. Everybody, hold on. Don't panic. Look at this. It's now or never. Please hold me tight. See how simple that is? It actually sounds okay. You may not want to do that, but the point is to keep it simple. If you, all your music from now here on out, if you say, I'm going to start with it simple and I'm going to play it as slow as I can, and I'm going to focus on the transition of my chords, you will be such a better player in the long run. You really will. Have some faith in yourself. Now, here we go. Make a C. Strum down. Now there's a delay between you and I, but you should be able to hear what I'm doing, even though maybe my hand doesn't match up. I don't know, but you can hear it. And then we're going to start just the first part of You Are My Sunshine. Here we go. You ready to sing? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy. Aha! I see all of you making that F chord. You don't know. This is a beginner's class. Nobody knows how to make an F chord yet. See, bad on all of you. You're supposed to go, but Pete, I don't know how to make an F chord. I'm new. Okay, now look. What am I trying to teach you here? So an F chord is actually something very simple, but I want you to take that C chord, and this is all about transition of chords. I've showed you how to hold the ukulele. I've showed you how important it was for the position of the ukulele. I've showed you the correct way for your hand to be on the fretboard so that you don't hurt your hand and that you actually are more efficient. You are a more efficient player. The other thing I'm going to show you is transition. And once you play for a while, it hit me at one time, probably about 6 years ago. I'm like, oh my gosh, my fingers are already there. So what I want to do is this. I want you to finger puppet, neck in the mouth of the finger puppet, hands in the natural position, fingers in the 1, 2, 3, 4 frets. Now, that C chord is your third finger, is it not? And it's on the first fret, right? Now, everybody look at my hand for a second. Don't look at your hand, look at my hand. So I have this so that my finger is, can y'all see that? Okay. I have to apologize because I'm about this big on my phone, so I have a hard time. That's why you see me squinting too. So we have my hand in this position. It's relaxed. Now, do you notice that I have two fingers that are here that are doing nothing? So we're going to go to that F chord, correct? So what are you going to do with those two fingers? Your first finger, index finger, is going to be on the second string, first fret. That second finger is going to be on the second fret, fourth string. That's an F, right? But what you're doing is you're playing that C, and while you're playing that C, you need to be thinking about going to that F. Well, these two fingers are already here, are they not? You just let go of that third finger. So it sounds like this. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You'll make me happy, right? Now, do you notice when you go back, where's your third finger? It's just floating around doing nothing, isn't it? You're going to go back to that C. Skies are gray. Go to an F. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take. Now, that next one is a G7. This is the last chord I'm going to show you. And the reason I'm showing this is because there's a point to this. We talked about the natural position of your fingers. What I want you to do is I want you to pretend you just got your nails done, and I want you to look at your nails. Now, I always get tickled because every lady I've ever known, most of the time, they go, well, let me look at and they throw their hand out. Oh, yeah, my nails. I want you to look at them like this. That's right. Now, this is your chord hand. Take your chord hand and look at it like this. Do you see how the fingers lay? Do you see how that natural position, they're just relaxed, how they are? We're fixing to make a G7. And Sue, would you please put the chord back up and so we can see the G7, please? And you are, is there not? Okay, well, G. Let's do a G. So can you zoom in just a little bit for me? Now, Everybody take a look at that. I'm going to tell you how to make that chord. I'm sure you know how to make that chord, but I always get tickled because a lot of people actually reverse their fingers to do this, and I don't know why. All right, now let's go back to Pete. So when you make this G chord, what you're going to do is this. You're going to take your first finger, you're going to put it on the third string, second fret. You're going to take your second finger, and you're going to put it on the first string, second fret. And you're going to take your third finger, and you're going to put it on the second string, third fret. Now, and relax. Relax. Don't just grip it. I want you to relax. Now, look across your fretboard this way. Are your hands still in that position, even though it's at an angle? If you were to take your hand like you had it just a little while ago, like that, and you put it on the fretboard right now, do you notice that it's none of your fingers are hanging over each other or backwards? Some people tend to make this chord like this. You actually want to make it like this. Does that make sense? Yeah, you have it backwards. Okay. Kelly, take your index. You don't have it backwards? Are you picking on me? Okay, so let's do that G. So does everybody understand what I'm saying? So like when you're making chords in the future, you want to make sure, even if you're doing a bar chord, you want to make sure that your fingers aren't over each other. They're not crossed. They're in that natural position no matter which way you make a chord. Any of those fancy jazz chords or any of those bar chords, you just don't want your fingers to be crossed. So what we're going to do is we're going to do You Are My Sunshine. We'll have a little fun, and then I'm going to open up, and if you have any questions whatsoever, I'm going to let you ask me. Everybody get ready. Strum down. Here we go. You are my sunshine, my only. We're fixing to go to an F. You make me happy. That's an F. When back to C and back to F now and back to C now. Now we're going to do a G. Please don't take my G away. That's all the chords now. Can everybody play that okay? So we're going to do this. Here we go now. Everybody just strum a little faster. And I know all of you can play. Just, smile. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. That is the first lesson. But I want you to take some things away, please. Take that PDF, look over it. If you have any questions, I'm always available. You can message me anytime you'd like to, talk to the library. But take some things away, please. One of them is position of the ukulele, how you hold the ukulele, position of your hand so that you have the hand puppet and you're holding the uke so that the thumb is on the back in the middle. When you get ready to start making like B flat chords, if you keep that thumb in the middle and you make that chord, you'd be surprised how much easier it is. Remember that the fingers are only going to go to the top of the fretboard. Remember, keep it simple and strum. The easier you make it for yourself, the happier you will be in the long run. Always. I had a band director in high school, and I stayed friends with him my whole life. And he's now in his 90s. And one of the most important lessons he ever taught me was geometry. He really did. He told me geometry. He said, "Hey, Pete, puppy dog simmer, hey." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But other than that, one of the most important things he taught me about music was always start slow. Play as slow as you can stand it. It may drive you crazy, but once you know how to play the music, you start playing a little faster. You can do all kinds of things with it because you already know how to play it. The last thing I want you to remember is this. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure to play the uke. Don't hurt your hands. try to keep it fun. And if you're doing something where you're playing and you're not happy, you're not doing it right. Rule number one is have fun. And if you have fun on your ukulele, you're more inclined to play it more often. If you find yourself frustrated, put it down, go do something else, and come back. So, any of you got a question? Anybody? Don't care what it is. This is my natural hair color. I'm not bleaching it. Just so you know. I mean, I did, and I did shave today. So, Marshall, you didn't.
Seriously, does anybody have any questions for Pete? I'm wondering if we should do something radical here and everybody unmutes and we play together and it sounds totally out of sync.
I would like that.
Just for fun. So
yeah,
go ahead
do
if
it
you're
totally out of sync and let everybody do. Let's do "You Are My Sunshine" and have everybody out of sync. What do you think?
I think turn on your video because, you know, why not?
And if you don't want to turn on your video, that is more.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know.
Hey, Pete. Pete.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, which band director that you was talking about?
Where's what?
Which band director was you talking about? Director.
I'm sorry. Which was I talking about? Can somebody hear her? Somebody hear her and repeat what she's asked me?
It's coming in a little broken. If you're asking about the handout Pete mentioned, there's a link in the chat. If you're not able to download it, if you're on Facebook, you can Facebook message Pete or me, or I'll put my email in the chat again. And if somebody you know is in the class tonight, maybe they can forward the info to you.
And if you want to, if you're friends with me on Facebook, and if some of you are not friends with me on Facebook, friend me on Facebook. And if you've got a question, anytime, day or night, send me a message. And if you would like that PDF, I will gladly send you that PDF so that you can learn. Next week, we're going to be taking on strumming, and we're going to be taking on doing some songs. Week 3, if you tune into week 3, we're going to do some basic songs, and we're just going to be learning how to sing with the melodies. And we're going to be basically doing a strum along if you would like to do that. That's week number 3. But each week I'm going to progress a little bit. We're going to talk about chord structures. We're going to talk about how it's a little bit in strums next week. We're going to probably do about 3 songs next week. So the week after that, we're going to have a little bit of a jam session. So that's what we're doing. And if you want my PDF for this class, it used to be available on my PDMac page, but I don't think that it is right now on my new one. So, but I'm happy to share. All right, is everybody unmuted? Miss Nancy, I apologize, I couldn't hear you. All right, everybody get ready. It's gonna be like a deer in the headlights. Mom ain't gonna see this one coming. All right, here we go. 2, 3. Now, I've had years of training. I can stand up to about 7 different beats, so I'm doing just fine. You are my 1, 2, sing with me. You are my sunshine, my sunshine. You make me happy. Yes, you are there. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Now let's try it again. You are my sunshine. I always do it. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Now, I just showed you a different way to strum. That is a generalized strum. And we're going to learn make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Don't trade for sunshine away. Now let's listen. Next week, I'm going to teach you how to do all that. I'm going to teach you how I do it. It's going to take some practice. I mean, any 3-year-old kid can do that after 30 years of practice, let me tell you. But all next week, I'll show you how I do my own particular strums. I'll show you how I arrange them. I'll show you how that when it comes down to it, for a long time, I do what was called a woohoo song, and it would be an old blues riff. I'll show you how to do that next week. And then the last class, y'all need to come on and join us because it's going to be one big party. That's what we're going to do. Thank y'all so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. And God bless each and every one of you for coming and putting up with me, my silly self. I sure have a lot of fun with y'all.
Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you.
at the end of the 3 classes, we might add some bonus workshops. We've got a few people like maybe Lisa Webb and stuff like that. We were kind of waiting to see the content in this class and what you guys want. So next week, I'll ask you what kind of workshops you might want us to do.
Yeah. And Miss Sue, in front of everyone, let me make you an offer for the Memphis Public Libraries. How about we have some good old sing-alongs? And we'll just schedule it. We'll schedule it so that anybody wants to join in, we can come in, we can have one of these, and y'all can join in, and we'll do some sing-alongs and maybe my book. Once you start getting everybody's classes, would y'all enjoy having a sing-along every now and then on here? I think it'd be a lot of fun. Y'all are always so nice to me.
Definitely. Definitely, we will do that.
Thank y'all so much, everybody. Y'all have a good night. Happy Monday. And I hope one thing. God bless y'all. Y'all take care.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.